Welcome to the Morning Juice. I'm Juice, and today I'm with Primo and Stauff from Sober Shenanigans. I knew the Sober Shenanigans part. I didn't know the names.
Nice. Thanks for having us, Juice.
How y'all
Thank you, sir.
doing?
Life is good, baby. Life is good down here in the Sunshine State.
I bet it is. Is it hot as it is up here? It's 107 heat index up here today.
Depends on where you're at.
Ain't that
Yeah,
hot?
right.
It ain't that hot.
It can get hot if you want it to, but you can get, you just have to be
We
smart.
get rain every day. So it gets hot around 2 o'clock, probably 100 humidity, and then it rains. It gets down to 98. We cruise
And then it
into
goes
the
to
evening
110.
right around 90, 99. It's like throwing a fastball. We're
So-
throwing heat.
So, tell me about y'all's podcast.
Well, all right. So the podcast, I told my buddy here, I met this gentleman. I moved to this area about a year and a half ago, and I started going to a new meeting. I ran into my boy here, Stauff, and we got to talking, became buddies, and I told him I had a studio, and was sharing this stuff. So this is sort of a pivot. This studio is a pivot from COVID.
Yeah.
When we kind of got locked up, my wife has an advertising and marketing agency. I've got a parking lot. I got other businesses that I do, and but my wife wanted to do this pivot and help local small businesses. So she set up podcasts for Hot. We have a digital video and photography studio. So that was kind of the thing. And he went on some road trip with his daughter and came back after listening to some podcasts and said that we needed to do a podcast together.
Yeah. I went to take my daughter back to college. It's a 4-hour drive. And on the drive, my wife and I listened to nothing but podcasts.
Right.
I'm thinking about Primo's got this studio, and from the meetings and meeting him, he's 33 years sober. And
Awesome. Congratulations.
yeah, and some of his sponsors are like semi-famous or actually famous speakers in the program, and he just has unbelievable stories and connections. So I'm like, I have a history of being on the radio and stuff like that. So I was like, man, why don't we just do it? Let's just kind of like you said, Juice. We're like, we got a studio, why don't we just do it? We'll tell stories. You can tell your 33 years of stories. I'll tell a few stories. I'm newly, I'm 2 years sober.
Congratulations, so am I.
Well, thank you. Yeah. So I kind of tell the newer side. He tells the veteran side of it. And yeah, it was kind of like the same as you. And what we say in every podcast is, if we can help one person, if this helps a truck driver. In fact, we got a call the other day from a truck driver in Philly, a cold random call. He was like, I found your show. I listened to it. It helps me drive. So we're like, word. I mean, we're just trying to help one person, and so let's give it a shot. And it seems to be resonating pretty well. And we've been finding more interesting guests as we go. Everyone's got a story.
Absolutely.
Some people don't want to tell it, but the more that people tell their story, the more people listening can relate, and hopefully the people that can relate will just stay sober. And that's all we're trying to do.
Yeah, I think the goal, as I got into this, I started to kind of help me recycle my program a little bit, which
Yes.
33 years, sometimes you got to keep it fresh. You know what I mean? You got to find a new something or another, a new toy. But it's always been recyclable, man. I get paid time and a half. Anytime I do work in this program, I get paid time and a half. So I got back to work. I started thinking about certain things, and I came to the conclusion that, this is going to be about living our best life. I have a really blessed and awesome life, and a lot of my friends that I've known over here, super uber successful in their recovery and in their lives, and they help other people. And I was like, this is the story that I get blessed to see, that I got to put out there, man. And plus
Right.
we like to bust each other's balls, which is a lot of fun. So we get them on there, and we kind of bust it up a little bit, but at the same time, it's this is life or death. If you've been around long enough to both sides of that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so we're that's what we're featuring, man. That's what we're laying down. And Greg is a super uber talented radio guy. He's been recording, and so it's a privilege for me not only to work with him, and he's also like under 3 years sober too. So I'm getting to watch like all this cool stuff. I just love to watch how people's lives dramatically improve.
Right.
You
I
know?
get you. I get it. I get it. Cause like with me, I work in the recovery field during the
Yep.
day. So like I am now a group facilitator working on my LADAC to become a therapist, to help in treatment and stuff. So I always tell them when I go to meetings and stuff, I'm always like, the most important person in this room is the newest person.
Absolutely.
Because for me, it's like I don't want to be in day one again, ever again. Even when I was a cutter, I don't want to be in that state where like that I was doing that ever again. So for me, it's like, you get that guy in the room for the first time or female in the room for the first time, and it's just like they teach me something, even if it's just I never want to be right there again.
What is a cutter, by the way?
I was a self-harmer. I was the
That's
one
right.
that would like go grab razor blades. I cut my thighs all the time. I was diagnosed as a rage cutter because like I would just make superficial cuts. When I relapsed and had to go back to the ranch 5 weeks after I got out because I didn't work the program right the first time. First time I worked the program, I wanted to go back to work because I used to own a Sonic drive-in. So like, I owned a Sonic drive-in for 23 years. I was like an overpaid social worker basically, because my crew were my family. Like, be honest, did I care about the customers? Not really, but I did the job like I was supposed to because I cared about my crew.
Sure.
And so like now, when I went back to the ranch, I worked it right for the second time, and it helped me not to be a cutter or not try suicide attempts no more. So like, I'm blessed. Like finding my spirituality is what blessed me and made my recovery become where it's supposed to be.
Nice. Glad to hear that, man. That's a great story. And you're helping during the day too. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
you went from managing a group of crazies to managing a group of crazies.
right. But get paid a lot less. You know what I'm saying? Because like if you're in the recovery world, you don't do it for the money. You're in it because you're passion for the people. You want everybody, as many people as you can come in contact with to experience what you have experienced in your own recovery. And it's just like that's where the passion comes from. Some people gave their time to get me to where I'm at today, and I just want to give what I got the rest of my life to help other people. And when I started this podcast, Brian worked at Home Depot, and when I first got out of rehab, I went to Home Depot to work. So you got a self-harmer, your higher power's like, hey, you're going to go work at Home Depot now. And you're like, oh, okay, this sounds like a good idea. But, that helped me get over the self-harm tendencies right then. In Home Depot, I will never disrespect Home Depot because they were so phenomenal helping me in my recovery the first 6 months. They were like, if you're having a mental health crisis, you take the day off. Like, you ain't got to carry a razor blade because we understand your situation until you're comfortable. Like, I have told so many people when they're coming out of recovery, go work at Home Depot because they will work with you on your mental health side until you get to where you're a place of more stable. So like I am blessed I worked there after I got out. And then I went to the place called the Ranch in Dixon, Tennessee, to work. And that was where I went and got my help at. So like it was cool getting to go back to be a BHT down there, a tech down there to help other people where I literally got got helped at. And now I'm here at Path Recovery in Madison, and we do outpatient work for PHP and IOP and OP. And it's like, man, it's just, you can't even knock a smile off my face. Like I can't come to work and be sad because like you get to work with like phenomenal people. It's in treatment and like y'all probably are, we're trying to break the stigma on the mental health and the addiction side because, everybody's got this idea that like, oh, you can just quit drinking whenever you want, like just stop. And they don't understand that it's a mental disease. It's a brain disease, And so like, that's why and so when Brian told me about y'all, I was like, it's just so cool to find two people that are trying to do the same thing that I'm trying to do. And they've been doing it longer than me. So like when he said we were going to collab together, I was like, oh, this is lit.
Nice.
Dude, I was excited. I mean, when you're doing this, you want to know that there's somebody out there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You want to see results. And we've been blessed. We've been blessed with the great guests, great energy. And And luckily, my wife owns a marketing and advertising agency. I'm also kind of blessed with some of my own little special juice.
There you go.
You know, with it, my wife's got some years of experience on. She gets paid to handle social media. She gets, you know, we have this stuff. I'm just sleeping next to her. Okay, so
Right.
I mean, but I'm actually, you know, I'm semi-retired, so I've had to kind of pick this ball up and learn these things. Like I'm excited about it. I mean, I'm doing things. You know, hopefully my wife will retire here pretty soon. We go travel and do some shit, but I'm really kind of enjoying the time, and I know that it's helping others because I'm seeing it. I'm seeing people get excited. I'm seeing the action and the energy. So that's it, man. That is the juice.
Yeah. Like for us, we got our first email because we just got our website up a couple of weeks ago. So we got a spot on there where they can email us and stuff and tell us, you know, if they want us to reach out to them. And I got my first email request last night, and it was like, all right, let's go. Like, you know, that one is worth the whole website. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, yeah.
We do. We get it.
So you guys have a website and a YouTube channel, right?
We have a website, a YouTube channel, and we're on Spotify, and we just got on Apple Podcast this week.
Wow.
So yeah, and we got Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on
Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook. Like we're on everything. Like we're trying to get the message out there to everybody. You know, I got a social media marketer person who just graduated college. She's coming on for free. She's already starting to tweak things up to help us, you know, get more visual with some stuff because it's not neither one of our expertise. I told them to. I was like, y'all two are the like the brains on this. I just sit behind a mic and talk. And they're like, nah, they're coming to see you. And I'm like, nah, without both of y'all, I ain't nothing.
That's exactly what I told Primo.
So where is he?
That's exactly what I said. I said, I don't know anything about how to put this on. You just put a microphone in front of me. I'll come.
Yes.
And, we'll tell stories and try to make it interesting. You know, I like what you had said earlier, Juice, about, you know, bringing you back to some sort of, bringing back to your faith and that type of thing, because I had really gone far away from any faith or any belief in any higher power before I got sober and came back. I had grown up in a family that was very church oriented, but I had convinced myself, like many of us do, that it had nothing to do with my life and I was running everything. And it took for me to hit my bottom to come to the program to find my higher power again. And it's made such a big difference in my life and my family's life to be able to bring that aspect back into my world, my kids' world. You know, I'm lucky that I got a couple of kids that are still in the church. They're excellent. You know, they're little angels. But me getting it back through this program, I would have never thought that. I would have never thought that getting sober, going to AA, becoming part of this program would somehow bring me closer to God and my faith. I could have never predicted that, but it's right. It's one of the many benefits that this life hack of the 12-step programs has done for me, for sure.
Absolutely. And here's a funny story. Like, right before I came back to treatment the second time, I was seeing my therapist. You know, I still saw my therapist, and he was like, I was going to tell him that I was going back to the ranch because I had tried to, you know, commit suicide again. And I was like, jeez. And he was also a preacher, and he goes, I've never preached to you before because you didn't want to hear it. He said, but I need you to do something for me. And I was like, at this point, I'll do whatever. I don't know what else to do. I just want to die right now. And he goes, I want you to pray for the first time in your life, or first time in however long it's been. And all I want you to say is, God, if you're real, show me a sign. And he's like, I feel like God is done with you at Sonic. Even though you don't believe in God right now, you are doing God things at Sonic by, you know, helping your crew and doing community stuff for the schools and churches. You were doing God things, even though if you didn't believe in him, he was still working through you. And I think he's done with you. And now you're going through these trials and tribulations. So I was like, all right, okay. So I prayed. I said, God, if you're real, show me a sign. Just that simple question, you know? So 2 days later, this lady, I call her Mama Carol. Her kids work for me at Sonic. She texts me, like, she sends me something every day now. She called me. She's like, honey, I heard you was going back to the ranch. I'm sorry that you're still struggling. I was like, yes, ma'am. She's like, well, here, I got to tell you something. She's like, God told me to call you today. Because she does this to me. She was doing this to me for years. She'd be like, God told me to call you today. And she was like, honey, God's putting you through trials and tribulations. You need to go down to the ranch and find your new assignment. Man, I was like, all right, God, I hear you. So like the first thing I did when I get back to the ranch the second time, I surrender, because my roommate the second time was a gospel singer that was on The Voice in 2017. And so he sung gospel songs. I was like, okay, all right, all right, God, I'm fully aware now. Like, I'm fully aware that you're real, and I'm fully aware you made me come back, because this guy right here is going to wind up being my best friend that I talk to him all the time, and he's still releasing songs. He's got I saw his Instagram today. He's got a new one coming out Friday, and and then he started bonding with me. And then his last night, he saved me. Like, we did the whole, he preached to me. And I had another friend up in the room with us who's a real close musician friend of mine. And he, at this time, he didn't believe in God, but he liked the Bible. And so he read something out of Revelations, which was my granddaddy's favorite book in the Bible. And I was like, so I'm sitting there crying. I'm like, this is just too real. And I told him, when that happened, I had this warm sensation come over my body. And I knew that I had been saved in that moment. Like, it was obvious, because as the warm sensation, look, I'm getting chills still talking about it. Like, every time I tell a story, I get chills. So like, all that happened. I was like, this was. And then my buddy, he's crying because he was like, his wish was to come back, find his, spirituality again, and save somebody while he was there. So like, we all accomplished what we had to accomplish, and going back to what you're saying, for me, spirituality is like the most important part of my recovery. Like, I pray every night, God, take everything off my plate today. Don't let me start tomorrow anew. And then every morning I wake up, God, thank you for letting me sleep another night and waking up today. That's the last thing I do and the first thing I do every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. It's first thing I do and last thing I do every day too. And, you guys are in Nashville, and I got a cousin in Nashville, Jen Thompson. She just published a book called Return to Jesus, and it's doing real well. And she's doing book tours and stuff up in your area.
Nice.
It's a real cool book. I'm really proud of her. She's really out there with her faith, and she's doing a lot of good work with it. And it's funny you mentioned The Voice, because coming on our show this week, and it'll be probably played next week, is this year's winner, Adam David, who is sober.
He was just at Recovery Unplugged in Nashville week before last, doing songs up there for them.
Yeah, he's coming on our show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
His manager, who's also sober and run the recovery place, that he is a buddy of ours who was on our show earlier.
Right.
So we're pumped about that too, man. We love the musical tie-in.
So for y'all, so like the question I have for y'all, when y'all start doing y'all's podcasting, you're trying to get listens out there, and you're trying to get views because you want people to hear this stuff, because you just want to save a life. It's all you want to do. I have learned that, like, I've all of a sudden got like reps from other treatment centers wanting to come on the show, and I was like, let's go. Because like, to me, it's like, if we can just kind of unify everybody together, instead of everybody fighting over clients and fighting over radio play, and I want my podcast better than your podcast. If we all just came together and just collab and just like, let's do this as one, we could heal so many more people so much faster. And that's kind of where, I'm going to have the people on my show, of course, but like, I want to go out and look at these treatment centers and be like, hey, let's work together, man. Like, let's plug your place. Let's do something together. So like, we can get more people in your facility and stuff, so that's kind of what I'm hoping this does eventually go to.
Yeah, we had Primo, tell them about our guy who owns the treatment centers we had on.
Yeah, we had a gentleman down here that owns Real Recovery, which is a halfway house. I mean, down here in Florida is Club Recovery. I know because I went to a lot of them. And so over on the East Coast, I think I went to 7 rehabs in all, and I spent about 2.5 years of my life on tour, going from rehab to halfway house to rehab to
On tour.
to a couch to back on tour to another rehab, and eventually a couple of nut houses in between. And so it was kind of exciting, but it's a big industry, it's a big network here. A lot of people, they have a hard time going into recovery, but when you say, hey, we're going to send you to a beach in Florida for a month, you know what I mean? They're like, oh yeah, maybe I'll go and dry out. Next thing you know, they show up down here. It ain't just like it's a sales pitch that does work until they get here, and then they get the sourpuss in the meetings, and
Right.
because they're not on the beach, you know what I mean, chasing bikinis or whatever they're supposed to be.
Yeah,
What they thought they were going to be doing. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole dream and the whole expectation got moved around. Yeah, there's a great network here, and I think he's got over 500 beds here.
Oh,
And
nice.
and he's going upwards of I don't even know. They're actually upping their game with the IOP and actual treatment. So they're going to the 28-day mode. And,
So they're going to like a residential mode.
They're combining it so that
Yeah.
they can get out of the primary into the halfway. Like there's I don't know of a 28-day treatment center that would said, hey, after 28 days you don't have to, you can go home and go back to your life. No, they all wanted me to go into extended care.
Right.
Which
And
I hate it.
that's a good thing right now. It seems like the people that are trying to get recovery,
Yeah.
like a lot of our clients are coming out of like 30-day treatment centers, 45-day treatment centers,
Right.
and then they want to come in for PHP, IOP, which could be
Yeah.
anywhere from, 3 to 6 months, depending on, what insurance decides they can have and all this other stuff. But like, you got people staying in treatment for 6-7 months before they even get out there. So like, it's really, and they might stay in a sober living house alone for another 5-6 months to get them a year under their belt before they even get out in the real world again, which I think gives them a better chance at a successful recovery.
I agree with you. I think there's a lot of it's obviously it's the individual and it's the amount of pain somebody comes in with and the motivation that they have. But it starts with the group and the network. I mean, what's going to be around long term is 12 steps. So it starts there. For me, it starts there. When they see the guy, the most important person is the new guy, and the pain that they had to endure to walk into them doors, and reaching out. There for every nut there's a wrench.
You're right.
There's for everyone out there that there's a different avenue or direction that
I
fit that person.
agree.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, nobody's recovery looks the same. You might take ideas from 5 or 6 people to make your own recovery. We just want you to recover.
I've been telling people a long time, don't do what I do because you ain't gonna stay sober. For some people, it ain't gonna work.
So,
You know what I mean?
if you don't mind, what 12 steps did y'all work? Did y'all both do AA or NA or?
I'm AA. 12,
Okay.
Yeah.
The granddaddy of
the granddaddy, like the godfather of the recovery world, the AA.
the inception of the
See,
12 step and self-help.
Where I didn't have substance or alcohol abuse, mine was mental health. I did the EA 12 steps.
Okay.
The
So
Emotions
that's interesting
Anonymous.
to me. And I find that interesting for sure. What
Now
did you
my-
replace? What did you replace, or did they come up with their own book?
No,
Or
it's
did you-
it's literally like the literature is just a tad bit different than the AA because where I work in the programs, I seen the AA, the NA, the ACA book. I think the ACA book, every person in America should read that book because
Okay.
like everybody's had some sort of dysfunction in their family or an alcoholic or a drug addict in their family. And like I think the ACA book is probably one of the most phenomenal books somebody can read. It's about 3 trillion pages long. So like, you're not going to get through it real quickly. It's like double thick than the AA book, but like there's a lot of good stuff in there, but like the only difference between all of them is just, the 12 steps are still the 12 steps. They're all exactly the same. It's just a little bit different of the wording.
Sure. It really, for those that may not know it, it's basically kindergarten Christianity.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's sort of the way that it was designed so that we could, but it doesn't push that direction on people. It allows you to find God at where you're comfortable. Which is really critical for some people, because you start saying this word or that word and the walls go up and people run out.
Because there's trauma.
They run out, yeah.
People's got religious trauma.
Catholic. I was raised Catholic, so I've been whipped by rulers, by a few nuns and whatnot, and the strict environment and the hell and the fire and all that.
Hellfire and brimstone.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't scared, but I was nervous.
See, part of my backstory is that my one of my stepdads tried to kill my mom my senior year of school. He was the one that beat me. He emotionally, mentally, physically, sexually abused me. And then my mom was in the hospital for a blood clot. I had knocked a baseball off her leg, and my mom didn't know. My mom didn't know none of this abuse was going on. I was trying to keep my mouth shut for the betterment of the family at the time. And then he had grilled some hamburgers or fried some hamburgers that night, and he kept telling me and my little brother that one burger was mom's. And I thought, my mom liked her burgers well done, so I wasn't thinking nothing. So she went from being in a regular hospital room to the ICU within 24 hours. They thought she was going to die. She wound up with a rare liver disease called NASH. It's non-alcoholic sexually transmitted hepatitis. When she was diagnosed in 96, there was only like 10,000 cases worldwide. She's now on the liver transplant list. They told her she wouldn't live 10 years. She's made it 30 years so far. Wow. She's sick as hell now, but like that woman's a fighter. She's always been a fighter. So I have, because this guy, after he done this, this is pre-internet days, basically. It was dial-up internet. Nobody was working together. He moved to Florida, coincidentally, became a gospel singer and released 4 albums. So then my religion went out the window. That's where I lost all my religion, because I was like, how the fuck you gonna let this man become a gospel singer after everything he's done? And it took until I got down to the ranch and talked to my buddy that's the gospel singer, and he broke it down. He was like, there are still people that are scamming that's in religion, and right. God knows. And so like he also broke it down to me that you can be spiritual and not be religious, And I was like, I don't, explain it to me. He was like, okay, spirituality, that's God and Jesus, And he's like, religion itself, all the different types of religions that you have out here, they're all man-made, when Jesus was walking around, it wasn't like, there's the Methodist people over here, there's the Catholics over there. It was just Jesus, you know what I'm saying? So when he broke it down that like you can be spiritual without being religious, that's what opened my eyes to accept God back into my life.
Nice.
It's important. There's the difference between religion and spirituality. And somebody told me this a long time ago that well, I'll have to remember it. Sorry, I'm getting old. I wasn't supposed to get this old. It happened, so it'll come to me.
Somebody told me a long time that, I'll get back to that.
Oh, God.
Hey.
Oh, Mike smack.
Well.
Trying to adjust the hat and Mike smacked it. So when y'all have people come on y'all show, since I haven't got to watch it yet, and I apologize, I've been swamped here lately, so I apologize I hadn't catch an episode, but like I said before we went on camera, I'm definitely going to start watching tonight because first of all, y'all are hilarious. Like I love y'all's vibe and everything. So when y'all have people come on, do y'all just let them tell their stories, or do y'all ask them, like, because like with me, I let them come on, tell their stories. I kind of guide them through their stories and ask them questions through their story and stuff. And how do y'all do y'all's?
It really depends on the person.
Yes.
So each person, so somebody can come on, they're nervous. And so either me or Greg will coax them out of their shell, and then we'll set them up, and then we'll embarrass them. Who knows? I mean, we let people kind of develop their own thing, and that's been kind of there's a good chemistry between me and him to like, we ham and egg a little bit. So I know like when it's time to hand it off to Greg, or Greg will Greg will come in when I'm struggling or whatever. And he's like more the straight man. I'm like the dragonfly with the ADD. I'm all over the place. And so that works well. And then there's times where they're really reaching me and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hit something home here. You know, like I'll remember something that's important that I get it out there, and it's fun. It's fun for me because I know that you know, in this area that I live in, I probably have people are tired of hearing my stories over here after all these years. So I'm glad I get a new audience to tell the same stuff I've been saying.
Yeah. Well, I tell somebody all the time.
We have a loose format that we'll use if they're not sharing, but we ask them off Jump Street, is there a point you'd like to make?
Yeah.
Would you like to tell your story? If you want to give your sober date, you certainly can. And then, you know, and then they'll say, like we had a guest on the other day who had never shared her story. She cried on the air with us because she finally shared it. And she felt comfortable enough to delve into that. And, you know, so what we do, like, we try to make it like an extended meeting, right?
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, you come in, it's loose. We have an intro. Once we intro, you know, we kind of ramble in the beginning like we did with you. And then, you know, we have a loose format, a few of the same questions that I'll ask if they're not sharing. But most of the time, if they've agreed to come on, they want to share.
Yeah.
And they want to talk. And, you know, we've probably had 2 people. So we've had 15 shows. We've probably had 2 people that are speakers, quote unquote. The rest of them are just sharing from their heart because they're comfortable. And, you know, when you go to these meetings, you share.
Who's the speakers?
Well, Detroit Lou is a speaker.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that.
And Raj is a speaker. Okay. Raj is an international speaker. So
from my hometown, Detroit.
There's 2 speakers right there. But anyway, so
both of them from your hometown. You're like, who's the speakers?
Right. We have a plethora of people from Detroit, thanks to Primo.
Yeah. No, I don't know about that.
But so that's what we do.
Yeah, I'm similar format. You know, a lot of times I'll go to meetings and I'll tell people at the meetings, you know, after the meeting, hey, I got a podcast. If anybody wants to tell their story to try to help one person, hit me up. Here's my number. Come on the show. We've had a couple of people that was the first time they ever told their story was on camera, which is wild, you know, to give me the privilege for you to be the first. I'm the first person you're telling your story to, and it's going out, you know, it's on spot, you know, it's on the radio, it's on, you know, podcast on Spotify, and it's on YouTube. And I'm like, you know, to give me the privilege, because you're on video, you know, on telling your story. I was like, you know, I'm just honored, you know. And on my show, this right here is like 13. I think y'all are lucky number 13.
Wow.
So I've had one therapist on so far, you know, and he was giving us therapist perspectives, but everybody else is just, they tell their story. And if they're working in like the recovery field, we talk about that for a little bit, you know. I let them plug the facility they work at, you know, because like I said, I want everybody to unify and let's do this thing together. So like, you know, I don't want to be like, hey, you can't tell where you work at because, you know, my facility sponsors my show. Like I'm not about that life.
Yeah. We do the same thing. The guy that had the recovery houses, we let him plug it. The woman who was on that does the telephone, we let her give out the number. We give out a number. You know, we have the Facebook page, and we give out a phone number every show. And like I said, we got a call the other day, and on the show we did the other day with the woman who shared her story, we called the guy live on the show who left us a message, and he answered. And he gave us a great story. Hey, I'm 7 months.
Me and my wife.
Me and my wife are sober. We're trying to do it together. I mean,
that's amazing.
It was amazing that he, you know, Primo was like, let me try to call him now, like while we're recording. And he answered. He's like, who's this? He's like, this is Primo and Stauff from the Sober Shenanigans. He was like, what's up?
Yeah,
it was really cool.
Sean from Philly.
Yeah.
So do y'all release weekly also? Do y'all release weekly episodes?
We do. So right now we're actually we have a wealth of episodes. This is going to be a 3rd episode that we'll have that we can release.
Yes,
but this
we try to get a little bit ahead also, because some weeks it don't work. You know, he still works at Home Depot, so I have to work around his schedule, you know. So like some weeks he's just slammed, and I'm like, I'm not gonna pull him. I'm not gonna make him work extra.
Greg is an adult too, by the way. I am not. He's the adult.
Primo's always ready to record, and I'm like, I can't. In fact, I got like 5 more minutes, and I got to dip.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're good. I want y'all, before y'all come off the air tonight, I want y'all to plug y'all stuff, plug it away. If you got a number, plug it. Like, give me everything right now so my viewers can check y'all out.
Go with the outro. My man here is the pro. He's like prepared.
We're Sober Shenanigans, you know, real talk and real recovery. We're trying to help one person at a time. The theme of our show, which we finish every weekend, is no drinks today. We try to keep it real simple. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but I'll bring it up here real quick. Our phone number is 727-294-4933. Sober Shenanigans with Stauff and Primo. And we're just trying to help someone and make sure they don't drink today. And we love to get voice messages or Facebook. We're growing really fast. We don't really have any other social media presence. Like, we don't have an Instagram.
We do.
I'm
the engineer, so I can tell you,
I don't know.
We're blasted into the universe. We have Instagram. I even done some on TikTok, which is
Brian takes care of all that for me. Yeah. So like he does all my social media, because my girl's just now coming on board this week. So like trying to get a little bit off his plate, because this kind of be Snapchatting me at like 1:00 in the morning, still working on videos. I'm like, bro, you got work tomorrow. Like let's go to bed. Like, it's time to sleep. You know. So y'all were on, what are y'all on? Apple, Spotify,
everything. So I have a service or a thing with Podbean, and then you can pick all the different places you want to launch your podcast on. There's like a dozen. So we're on everything. We're on all of them. Everywhere. So once you get the one thing through Podbean, and spits it out to the universe from there.
Okay, that's a new one. Hey, that's a new one for me. I didn't know that one. So y'all just gave me a heads up. It's called Podbean, right?
Yeah, Podbean is great. And so we haven't done, this will be our first video. So we've got AI generated images for each poster each week. So nobody knows what I take a picture of them, then I have AI tweak them.
Yeah.
They look kind of funny, but that's all on our Facebook page that goes out to all these things. And then I post on probably 60 to 70 different recovery groups online. There's hundreds and hundreds of them, but I have
yeah.
So we probably have like 1,000 or like 1 million followers within my core group of followers that I'm following, and they all accept this, and they're reposting it and they're pushing it out there. I welcome all the new followers and ask them to put their sobriety date. They love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then you have to comment on that. You have to make it viral by commenting and liking and doing all that. It's energy and it's work.
TikTok takes a lot of work. I've learned that in the past week. I think I've been on TikTok 2 weeks. Well, he made a TikTok page. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a personal TikTok page so I could just repost everything he does that way, you know, to try to get more people. Then I was like, hey, I gotta make sure I have some followers. So then, like, I go on these little checks, you know, it's like dads follow dads and all these little men groups. And I'm like, I type up, you know, sobriety, and I follow all them, and, you know, ask them to follow me back. So in 2 weeks, I've got 700 followers on TikTok. I don't think that's too shabby. Like, I don't work on it all the time.
That's really good. And TikTok is an engine that will drive a lot of volume very quickly. You know, so the Facebook is for the older people, okay? Like myself. The Instagram is a little bit generation maybe earlier.
Yeah.
And then you've got
I don't know. That's what you do.
I do this for you.
Hey, we should do this. We should do this again if y'all ever down. Like, if y'all down to do this again, let's hang out again. You know,
sure.
You guys, thank you, by the way.
Hey, I love having people out here that are doing the same thing and have the same vibe as me. Like, that's amazing. Like, you know, if we ever get down to Florida, because Brian wants to take his thing, you know, he wants to travel. He likes to travel. He was like, man, we need to go to Florida sometime and do some podcasts. So like, if we ever make it down there, man, we'll call y'all. We will definitely like go out to eat, hang out, and do a big old podcast
I'll give you a
together.
little studio tour. I mean,
Oh, nice.
I mean, I didn't even put our shenanigans thing on the thing yet, but yeah, this is a live edge table and whatnot. So I know a man here. I know he's jumping.
I'm finna let y'all go. You know, thank y'all again for coming out. You know, if anybody needs any help out there, reach out to us, reach out to Sober Shenanigans. You know, we are out here trying to help everybody that we can. You can follow me on Instagram at morningjuicepod. Website is morningjuicepod.com. YouTube is The Morning Juice, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.
Thank you, Juice.
See ya.
No drinks today.
Hey, I appreciate y'all, man.
All right, brother. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.